There's no place like home. There's no place.
Home. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Well, welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
And I'm Eric Stromer.
A special Christmas edition as we're kind of getting you into the spirit of things. We're surrounded by the little Dickens carolers.
They sing like crazy, don't they? I love them.
They're dressed in the true Dickens garb, you know, with the little British capes. The women have the cute little velvet capes, and the guys have these tuxedo-type suits on with the tall hats.
But some guys have cute maroon bonnets.
And I have a bonnet, too.
And we're both wearing those.
Both bonnets, yeah. So it's fun. And you can go to carolers.com and find out how these folks can come and brighten your home for the Christmas holidays, as they'll be singing for homes and parties and so forth. It's kind of fun,
It's
isn't it?
fantastic. Yeah. I love having them.
But a big part of Christmas is there's so much to Christmas. There's the tree. And, you know, do you go faux? Do you go fresh?
I personally want to go fresh, and I think there's only one guy we got to go to talk about that, isn't there?
Well, we had a good time. We went to this tree lot. His name is Mark Rolfs, and he is, he looks like Santa.
He's huge. He's like Oregon's own Santa Claus.
He's been doing this since, the 80s. He has this amazing Oregon tree farm, and every year they've been bringing trees to Sherman Oaks, and so we wanted you to join us in our search for the perfect tree. So let's roll the tape.
If you guys can imagine what it looks like here, it's a lot at a university here, right in the valley, in the heart of Los Angeles, and there's trucks everywhere. There's forklifts and pallets of trees, and probably 20 guys with chainsaws and drills creating and mounting all the new stands on these trees.
It smells like pine.
It smells like we're in the middle of Oregon. And where do you do your stuff? Tell me where these are grown.
Well, we're growing the Christmas trees up in the Cascade Mountains. My home is near Corvallis, Oregon, which is near Eugene. And so we're farming the Christmas trees on leased farmland up in the Cascade Mountains at higher elevations. The noble fir like it really wet. They prefer it around 60 to 70 inches of rain a year, and they need that cold, freezing temperatures in the wintertime to go into dormancy.
So what he was telling me, Cindy, as we were waiting for you to show up here, imagine these trees. There's one over there that's 15 feet tall at least. Yeah. You pull these out by hand, and guys laborers are coming down these mountains with the rain blowing sideways, as you put it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's special about Oregon is 35 degrees and raining sideways. And so it's
that's
just
special. Yeah. You gotta love it.
Yeah. And you wish it would cool down a few more degrees and go ahead and snow.
That's why you have this protective gear, all your hair and the beard.
But, I'm always in awe of the work that the farm crews do, because like those big 15-foot trees over there, they weigh 700, 800 pounds, and these guys can't drag them. They have to carry them, and it's a steep slope, and they're carrying them off this mountain to get them out to the road where we can put them on a trailer and bring them up to the yard. And so it's just incredibly difficult work. And these guys just go to... I'm just always in awe of what they do and how hard they work to bring these trees out to us.
And then you bring them here to Los Angeles. These trees must be in shock after having been in that very rich, wet soil, and here they are.
Well, they do real well. They handle it.
Wait, I'm sorry. You don't think the trees like just being in a parking lot in the valley? Probably not.
Like, totally.
Well, I like it because it's the reason these trees are grown, and the whole purpose of it is the joyfulness of the children at Christmas. And that's what I love about coming down here, and why we still run a retail lot.
But you never really understand what it takes to get them off the mountain, bring them to a place to sell them, and why they cost what they cost. It makes total sense. To get them here is a tremendous amount of effort.
The amount of work that goes into just growing them is huge. The biggest job we have on the farm is shearing the trees, which is working with a long, sharp knife, and you go around each tree and you shape it each summer. So every tree over 3 feet tall in the entire farm is shaped by hand every summer. So you go around them one at a time, and you count up to about 150,000. And so that's really a big job. Lasts for months and months during the summer and fall. And every tree on the farm is shaped every summer, every growing season. The new growth is shaped.
So it's a pruning process, right?
Right, and so a tree grows approximately a foot a year. Like this tree that we're looking at right here, that's 9 feet. That's out of a field that's 10 years old. The amount of work that goes into each tree is a tremendous amount of work even before the harvest, and then harvest is just a huge endeavor.
Yeah, so last year I went to a big box store. I have 3 kids under 13, and I went into the parking lot and grabbed a tree, and I looked at the price point and walked away. And there was really no ceremony or ritual about it. It was basically kind of a pain. I got to get a tree. It's 3 days before Christmas, blah, 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 blah.
And it felt expensive, right?
And it felt expensive. But now you come here and you see that you guys are really doing this, and you're really coming off a mountain, and you're really kind of understanding what it takes to sustain farming and make it work, and it's not riddled with chemicals and pesticides. People are hand shaping. I didn't realize that. The trees are not perfectly triangular. Somebody is actually walking out and trimming them in that shape. I mean, it just makes all the difference, and now I feel comfortable, and I'm buying my tree here. That's all I'm saying.
Help us now shop for Christmas trees, a fresh Christmas tree, right? How many different types of trees are there to consider?
We carry 4 kinds of Christmas trees. They're all firs. There's a noble fir, which is the most popular tree. That's this kind right here with sort of the heavier branches and a somewhat layered-looking appearance. And they're the most popular tree. There's others. The Douglas fir is a traditional tree. That's the real bushy type tree. We also have a grand fir, which is a balsam type fir, very, very fragrant tree. And there's a new kind of tree, at least in the United States, called Nordman fir. And this is a tree that's been grown in Europe for Christmas trees since World War II. It comes out of Turkey and northern and Republic of Georgia. The seeds do. And
you know what's weird? Because I do smell a floral scent of cumin and some sort of raisin, I believe it is. Kidding. Go ahead.
So those trees are a real long-lasting tree, and it's sort of the newest thing. We've only been doing it for about 10 or 12 years, and so for us that's a new thing.
So wait, what makes you select a new species of tree? Is it the appearance? Is it the fragrance? Or how long it lasts after it's been cut? What are the criteria?
Well, we're always trying new things. The experience in Europe has been that these are very long-lasting trees. And they're a real pretty tree, and so we thought we'd just see how well they do. They tolerate certain kinds of soils that the noble fir don't seem to like very well. Noble fir is the most popular. Grand fir, Douglas fir, and Nordman fir, the new type.
The one with the we'll wear the harem pants for the celebration instead. Correct. Here we go.
So once we've chosen whatever you're going to wear with your tree, a lot of people I think worry about or choose a tree on how they can put ornaments on the tree. Some feel like they'll hold an ornament that might be heavy a little better than another kind of a branch, like the classic Charlie's Brown tree, right? You want to feel like it's going to support the lights and all the pretty things you're going to put on the tree?
Right, and this is one of the reasons noble fir is the most popular tree, because it has a good firm limb that really holds heavy ornaments and really shows them off without drooping. Your Douglas fir is going to be a little softer and won't handle quite the same volume of ornaments and the heavier ornaments.
What's the most fragrant one?
Grand fir by far. They are almost a citrusy type smell, hugely fragrant, and very popular, very pretty tree.
And they hold the weighty ornaments also?
They don't hold them as well as noble fir, but they are one of the bushier trees, and they have a stronger limb than Douglas fir, which is the softest of the.
We can get the grand fir in a wreath or garland to bring the fragrance to our home, and then have the other kind for a tree.
Yeah, most of the wreaths and garland are made out of either noble fir or cedar, and a cedar provides a very nice fragrance on the garland. And the noble fir, don't get me wrong, they have a wonderful fragrance as well. They're just not quite as strong as the grand fir.
We were talking about those Patricia Breen ornaments that are made out of crystal. They're really heavy, so I imagine this would be a better choice. If you have heavier, more crystal or glass ornaments and collectibles, you don't want them to fall, so the noble fir may be the choice for that.
That's what I would choose if they were in that situation for sure.
And then the other thing, too, is that I don't think many other Christmas tree lots have so many types of trees like you guys have. I've never really been told you have 4 options. It's sort of like, there's the one over there. Take it or leave it. Get out, So it's an amazing luxury to have that possibility.
Yeah, most tree lots will have noble fir and Douglas fir.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 basic, most common types, And when you're shopping for a tree, you really want to be looking for a tree that's going to look and feel fresh.
Because a lot of these guys, they don't have them fresh from the farm, right? I mean,
our crews are working maybe a day ahead of the trucks, and the water stand is something that everybody should have a water stand. You should never ever put a Christmas tree up without a water stand. The tree is going to dry out. It's not going to perform well in your home, and it's not going to be safe. A water stand will make the tree last, the 5-6 weeks that you expect it to last, and still be fresh.
Really? 5 or 6 weeks?
That's what you should get out of a noble fir.
Okay. Hold the phone, because again, again, I bought my tree a couple of days before Christmas, and maybe like the second or third day, leaves are dropping. What does that mean? I didn't water it enough, or I've got an old tree.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Sometimes, especially when you're buying at the big box stores, is those trees have been harvested for a long time.
Try it like March, right?
Well, they're harvested early in November, and they do spend some time in the yards before they're shipped.
And they are protected. They are kept from the winds, right?
And you can see from here at the lot, we maintain big shade tents to keep the trees out of the sun. It's very important that they're not exposed to a lot of heat. And so what happens is the trees at the stores are not being well cared for. And then a lot of times too is they're already past the point, what's called permanent wilt point, when you get it. And you can put it in water, but it won't drink at that point. It's too far gone.
Well, you can see the water right on them right now.
I swear I thought I was in Oregon. I didn't know what happened.
These trees arrived from Oregon this morning. What happens is if you don't cut off half an inch or an inch of the trunk, the tree seals up with sap. And it takes 2 or 3 days for that tree to completely seal up with sap. So from the time it comes from the farm to here, even as fast as we run, it's sealed. The bottoms, they ooze out sap and they seal themselves up. And then you put it in water and it won't drink. So you need to cut off some fresh wood, just like you would cut a flower before you put it in a vase.
So you got to love this guy, Mark Rolfs, huh?
He has the best selection of Christmas trees, and I feel educated now.
We could really smell the fragrance. It was beautiful. But besides how you pick the tree, we have to figure out how to keep it looking fresh for weeks.
Yeah,
Welcome
once
back,
it's in the
Home
house, it
Wizards, a
wants
very
to last
festive edition.
3 to 4 weeks.
I'm
Water
water
it. If you get it
it's so
right,
fun to
it'll
have
last.
these. So we're going to help you with that and more next
I
on
sure
Home
love them. They
Wizards.
sound great,
Keep
don't
it
they?
here,
And
Cindy
tune and
Dole,
everything.
Eric Stromer, as we segue
That's
to the
right.
commercial break with the Little
Kinda.
Dickens carols.
You know,
We're back
I got to
after
tell
this.
you, now that we've learned a little something, I don't think I'm going to kill the Christmas tree as soon as I thought I was going to.
Well, there's certain things that our friends at Santa and Sons have shared with us in terms of wives' tales. What do you do to add to the water?
We don't do aspirin, apparently.
I don't know. So let's go continue our conversation with Mark at Santa and Sons, a great tree lot in Sherman Oaks, on how to keep that fresh tree lasting through the holidays.
Here we go.
So let's talk about the drink method, because there's so many theories out there, right? What you add to the water, the aspirin, do you want antibacteria so it doesn't get all moldy and so forth? Do you put sugar in the water? What are your theories?
Well, it's all hokum.
Hokum.
Seriously, you put nothing in the water?
No, really.
No fertilizer, nothing?
Nothing. It's
No
too,
aspirin?
No, it doesn't do a thing.
Where do those stories come from?
Well,
It's called marketing.
old
No
wives'
bleach.
tales. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah. Okay, just
reason
fine.
people put a cap full of bleach in the water sometimes is if the water gets dirtier and it can get moldy or musty. Okay, and a cap full of bleach can help prevent any mold or smell, getting musty smell in the water.
So that helps us, doesn't help the tree.
It doesn't hurt the tree though.
Doesn't hurt the tree.
Right, and
Do you put things in your water?
I'm really trying to just water the thing because it sucks the water up so fast I can't keep up with it. So that's my downfall, is that I don't tend to the watering of the tree often enough, I think.
It's almost like every day you need to add a little bit. Huh?
Yeah, you can't let the water drop down below the bottom of the trunk, and if it does, it'll start sealing itself back up. And if it sits there for more than 3 days dry, it is sealed up. And at that point, if you have ornaments on it, you really don't want to take it down and recut it. and there's not much you can do at that point. So really, it's pays you to keep that water in the tree, in the bucket, and don't let it go dry.
Okay, now here's my question: when should we buy a tree?
Well, we're here this Thanksgiving weekend, and certainly for the commercial orders, things like that, people get going this early. But, far be it for me to say it, but it's really a little earlier than we need to be buying a tree. The first weekend of December, I was considered to be the ideal time to buy a tree because it's one of our busiest periods, and so what we're seeing is we're going to be so busy that there's a tremendous number of loads that we ship down for that weekend of fresh trees. So there's going to be a ton of fresh trees that weekend. And if you're going to buy a real tree, you might as well have it in your home long enough to really enjoy it.
Right.
And so there's not really much gain in waiting until the very end because the trees just don't, they don't do any better. They're already harvested at that point. And so there's no reason.
The clock is ticking, in other words, right?
So there's no reason not to get it early in the month. So my feeling is the first weekend of December is about the ideal time, between the first weekend and the second weekend of December.
Okay, let me clarify. So they're not going to harvest anymore after a certain point. They're not going to be any more fresh closer to Christmas. So the first week of December is when you're going to get the optimal tree that you can have long enough in your house to enjoy it, and it's still going to be great and thrive and last through the new year.
And just make sure that the lot you find your tree that they've been caring for the tree.
And that's the key, because I think I love this guy. He's the tree whisperer, and now I know where I'm going to buy my trees for the rest of time.
Santa and Sons Christmas Trees, and we're located at the corner of Coldwater Canyon and Burbank Boulevard up here in the valley. We're in the parking lot at Los Angeles Valley College.
In Sherman Oaks.
Yeah,
right. So back to the caring of the tree. We've chosen a great tree lot. We've chosen a great tree. We're now going to keep it moist. Don't worry about the additives. That's how you describe it?
Hokum.
Hokum.
Let's all say it on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
It's hokum.
Okay.
But some people celebrate Christmas a little bit later.
Sure.
And is it possible to even have the tree the life of the tree extended through New Year's Day?
Sure.
Do you mist your tree? Are there other little special things that you do to make it happier?
Misting does not hurt the tree. We recommend you turn the lights off before you do it, and it can help keep the humidity levels up for the tree and keep them from drying out as fast. The folks who are celebrating January 6th, a lot of those folks use Nordman fir, which is a traditional European tree, and also lasts the longest. But if you get a good, fresh, noble fir and you take care of it, it will last until New Year's.
What are some of the things that we do as a homeowner or as a tree caregiver that's really we blow it? Okay, besides the watering part, we're probably putting it in a place that's too close to the heater, right?
Yeah,
or in the window.
Putting it over a heat register can really shorten the life of a tree because you have that hot, dry air blowing on it, and that's the opposite of what it wants.
So where would you put it in the house?
Well, obviously, usually the people's position for the house for the tree
shower.
Nice misting. That's right.
Yeah.
I see you showering and you're singing to the tree.
Come, kids, come to the bathroom and look at the Christmas tree.
So normally the people's the spot for the tree is pretty well set. So
by a fireplace, and you don't want that to happen.
Well,
it's going to be too hot.
Right, and so, but wherever the spot is, if you do have a heat register there, try to cover that one register at least for the season. The other things, don't put it in a hot, sunny window, and if you keep the house at 88 degrees, it's not going to last as long. That too.
Okay, so all 4 of those criteria are things that I'm guilty of. So now I've been educated yet again. Continue, please.
How about the kind of Christmas lights you use? Are there certain types of lights that emit more heat or somehow dry out your tree?
Well, sure. The old-fashioned, the big C7 bulbs, they were hot, okay, and they could really cook a tree. Then they went to the smaller bulbs, and they were still pretty hot. And then they went to the mini lights, and they were a little hot. And now they've got the LEDs, which have no heat. And so LEDs are the way to go for sure as far as, making the tree last longer, lowering your electricity bills, and, it's the right modern approach.
I grew up with bubble lights.
Yeah.
Did you ever have bubble lights?
We did.
Yeah? I'm not sure if those are safe for trees, but it's very nostalgic for me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you need at least a couple of good old-fashioned lights and ornaments on there, Just no open candles.
Okay.
I have learned so much. I feel like now I can make an educated guess. And the other thing too, to come here and know that you'll be here the first week of December. You will be here, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. We're here every day, and
You'll be our tree therapist. You'll guide
you
us.
bet.
Right?
I'll be glad to. And I really believe that if you can find a farmer who's growing trees, who's bringing them directly to you, then you're engaging in community agriculture,
right?
And you're supporting working families here, because virtually, I want to say over 90% of Christmas trees used in America are grown in the United States, with the others coming mostly out of Canada, and so this really is supporting American agriculture, and it's family farms too. There are no big corporations involved in the Christmas tree industry. The biggest Christmas tree farm in America is called Holiday Tree Farms, and that's a family-run corporation, and so a family-run business. And so all of the Christmas tree farms in America are family farms, and so when you're buying a real tree, you're not just supporting a tradition, but you're supporting American people, and traditions are worth maintaining. The things that we remember as a kid, we have a lifelong attachment to those images and those events, and so I think those are worth recreating with our own children.
I have a question about price point, because everyone's going to say, okay, Eric and Cindy, here you're worth a lot, and we are open to paying the fair price, because you've described how so eloquently this is not just about getting a tree, but helping people like you guys in your jobs and so forth. What are we expecting? Are the prices up this year? Give us a range so we know.
Prices are creeping up. We're facing ever-increasing costs. For instance, 4 or 5 years ago, fertilizer was $250 a ton. This year it was $600 a ton. A basic 6-foot tree is probably going to be $39, $49. It depends on the type. The Douglas fir are going to be your most affordable tree, and then the noble fir are going to be noble fir and Nordman fir are going to be your most expensive trees. A Douglas fir, 6-foot Douglas fir, you're going to be looking at $39, $49 in that kind of range, whereas a noble fir is probably going to be $79 for the same size tree. They grow slower. One thing that I really recommend people do before they buy a tree is touch it.
Yeah.
Get your hands on it. Feel it. It should feel fresh. It should feel soft and green.
And the needles should
supple.
not come off.
Absolutely not. And, the tree you'll feel it if it's fresh. It's supple and it's green and it can bend. Put your hands on it. Pick the tree up. It should be heavy for its size. If it feels light for its size, then it's dry. And these are some of the things you can do. Bend a twig. The twig should not break. If it does, it's dry.
Pretty fun stuff.
Boy, is it ever. I love this guy. He's fantastic, isn't he? He's a real, true...
He's American.
Farm-growing guy.
He is, and I love how this is helping, to preserve jobs as well as preserving traditions.
And it's also a green business.
It is a green business.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in checking out the guy that really looks like Santa Claus, Santa and Sons, the tree lot is in Sherman Oaks. Just check out the website, santasons.com, and have a great Christmas. So
absolutely, yeah.
Coming up, let's talk about photography.
Boy, I can't wait. You know what? Sometimes pictures are great, and there's a reason, isn't there?
It's all about the subject.
Well, in my case, yes, that's true.
And the lighting.
That's right. And pretty much, and the equipment, and pretty much everything that I don't have.
And the shoes. I mean, these days you've been really kicking it up with the shoes.
Well, I kick it up a notch now, don't I?
You do.
That's right.
All right. Well, coming up, we're going to find out how do you take great photos and videos of your family for Christmas. I mean, it's the pressure's on to capture them all.
That's right. We're going to take great ones this year.
It's coming up next. Home Wizards, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. We're back in a moment on KFWB News Talk 980.
2, 3, 4. Cha-cha-cha.
That was awesome, man.